But I guess that just goes to show how different the common stack is from Giveth, right? Like we are, and I hope that we can maintain this vibe. That the common stack is like a really serious project, and at least and we can pretend like we're really professional people, and we can maintain this level of like attacking. I still can't believe how early everyone has been waking up and making this happen. So thank you guys again for this. And one of the things for us to stay professional and for us to keep like this high standard is to understand and have like safe expectations on everyone else's time commitment to this project for this very intense next 2 months. We have a lot of stuff going on internally and externally. So I think this session's goal is just to give everyone a chance to say how many hours they think they can work this week, each week in the next couple months, some major things that are going to slow them down, and major time commitments that, hey, Svanette, major time commitments that they have outside of this project, and yeah, how many hours per week. So like, I'm just going to model and then we pass it around. That's all we do this session. Should be easy. So I have a really crazy schedule this week, the next week. I don't know exactly how I'm going to get it all done. I still want to commit about 2 to 3 hours a day on average to the common stack. But that is going to at least 2 to 3 hours a day on average for the next couple weeks. Starting on August 12th, I will be really actually August 10th, which is not very far from now. It's about 2 weeks from now. I will be really engaged with humans in real life, trying to organize Burning Man before. And then, so that will drop down to being like an hour or two every other day from August 10th to August 17th. And I already put this in the calendar. And then for August 17th to probably right before TAG, which is the 21st, 23rd. So I think on the 21st, I should have internet again, but there'll be 4 days where I just don't have internet. So from the 17th to the 21st, so I won't be able to do anything really. Maybe, and I'm not going to commit to even reviewing documents. And then on the 21st to 23rd, I should have actually decent internet, and I could probably do a call or two, but not real work, just like advising. And that will go until probably September 6th. I will be at best just advising, and then I will be able to ramp things back up after September 6th. And then September 15th, I should be 100%. Like, I'm not gonna really, it's nice because Burning Man, everything just falls away. And then I have to choose to pick it back up. And this is the only thing I want to pick up. I'm not even for Giveth or DAppNode or Telegraph. I don't want to pick anything up. I only want to pick up the common stack. And maybe like having a good relationship with my girlfriend.
Wow.
Off topic.
Yeah, sorry, off topic. So basically, I have the next 2 weeks at about, what is that, 15 hours a week, and then it drops off pretty heavily. That's my time commitment. I'll pass it to Jeff.
My time commitment for the next 2 months. August, I will be working as many hours as needed to complete everything that needs to happen. I feel like I'm going to be the main driver on a lot of this stuff while Burning Man is going on. So there is no real holdups on that end. Once Burning Man is complete and there are other resources back on the project, I'm planning on being in a camper on the west coast of Canada, letting my brain cool down a little bit, but I will still be in contact. I'm not planning on dropping off. just be in a different time zone. Actually, I believe Griff and Norla will be in the same time zone, so that won't be such a huge sync disconnect.
And Z.
And Z, yeah. So.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, West Coast for the month of September. If there is some leeway to take some hours so that I'm not totally full time, that would be great. But I will be sensitive to the needs of the project, and I'm around for whatever needs to get done. What was the other thing today? Hours and
That's it. Time commitment, and then you pass it.
Pass it to Chris.
So I will be in for like the next week. Will be waking up as of the 1st. So that's like next Thursday. I'm focusing on the comment sec again. The first 3 days now is just a special thing because Airbnb things I'm organizing here, but I'm available. So as of Wednesday until Berlin, I am available for the common stack, and I'm going to work and sync as much as possible with Giveth. So I changed my planning there because I was planning on vacation there, but I think it makes more sense right now that I have and come also to Berlin. So I will be at TAG and DAPCon and all those events to support in any way possible. Then I will drop off the face of the earth during Burning Man for 2 weeks. So that's approximately until the 7th of September, because I'm going to stay until the end of the breakdown of the camp. So the 7th of September, and then for the rest, and then I would say for the next 2 weeks of September, I'm planning on taking it a little bit slower, but same as Jeff, like I am fully available if there's things that need to be reviewed or whatever, but I'm planning on going to a lower hour rhythm.
And how many hours per week for the next starting on the 1st?
Until Burning Man, I would say hours per week. I hate saying that because as much as needed.
Like 25?
For sure.
Okay. Oh, nice. More than 25, it seems like.
Yeah.
Okay,
Unless you really don't need me. I pass it to Adam because he's good. He's a nice guy.
No, it's okay. Let's see. For between now and this coming Monday, I could probably put like 2 of those 3 days pretty heavily in the comment stack. From this coming Tuesday till about the 10th or the 11th, I'm going to be going deep in another project and not super available. And then a lot of flights where I always say I'm going to get stuff done. Half the time it actually happens. Half the time I'm just like, whatever. For the rest of August and then the month of September, I've committed to travel with someone for like a week and a half, at which point I'll be pretty out of reach.
And where are you traveling?
Not clear yet, probably up the coast,
Cool.
up to Oregon or something. But yeah, I'm not sure yet, 100%. But so that's gonna be, it's not yet scheduled, but that's like a week and a half somewhere in there that I'm gonna be pretty out of range. Other than that, yeah, I expect to be available, and I'll pass to Matt.
Yeah, so I plan at least 2 hours a week. I'm going to Birmingham. Yeah, so I don't even know what connectivity would be there. Yeah, but other than that, ready to support, even if you need more than a few hours, but let me know what you think.
When you say few, are you thinking like 3?
Yeah, around that time. So like call, then some preparation, follow-ups, maybe structuring some information. Also, like looking at as like smaller project, like to make interviews or research with token engineers about to better understand their needs. So that may be a side project. But like for governance part, I think it would be like enough to start.
Cool. I'll pass it.
Lloyd.
Everyone to the side.
Hey, good morning. So I throughout the next month, which I'm considering to be August. It's August to me now. I will be pretty available to this project until about the 20th of August, and at which point I go to Burning Man and go offline. I'm not doing the whole like build and takedown that these guys are, but I will not be back online again until probably more like the 5th or 6th of September. And yeah, in between now and the 20th of August, it's hard to measure because I haven't been measuring my time really, but I assume that I'll be spending like between 20 and 30 hours on Common Stack a week. And I also will be like your main point of like, emergency, I need Griff. Because he's gonna be very like in real world with people in his face and stuff. So if there's any like super burning, like, oh my God, I need attention from this, and Griff is not like easy to get a hold of, I'll probably be in his vicinity. And that might be the only way. So yeah, is that all we're answering?
Yeah. You pick one of these guys.
Spawnit, did you go yet?
No, not yet. So I just returned from holidays. So that's a good thing. So I don't have any other traveling plans going on for the rest of August or September. The only thing I need to make sure is I'm also involved into other projects in Relay in Avado. I need to do some follow up on that as well. So probably next week I'll spend the majority of my time catching up with those two projects because some things need to be done there. That doesn't mean that I can do anything for the common stack, so I anticipate next week to have something like 2 hours a day, so about 10 hours that week that I can commit to the common stack. Then the 2 weeks following that, I think I can commit like in the range of 20 hours a week or something at least to the common stack. So which I would really like to try to focus on those smart contracts and these things. Then the week of the 18th, 19th of August, and I anticipate being in Berlin about the whole week. And then further down the line, like the rest of August and September, I also anticipate at least spending like 20 hours a week or something on this project. So I don't anticipate taking up any other engagements for projects. So that's about my plan. So I don't really have any blockers. Yeah. Besides the fact that I have, of course, 3 kids that are still running around here the whole month of August. So they also need to be entertained once in a while. So that's about my availability, I guess. Who hasn't been yet? Bert, I think. Coach B.
Yeah, so I'll take over. Yeah, the next week is I'm still regularly working, but as just as Bonnet, I'm also involved in Relay and Avado. So those two need some follow up. But I have tasks already for the common stack that I will definitely provide and work on. And I have holidays planned from the 3rd to the 16th of August, where I'm actually in Barcelona in the Giveth house. I guess nobody's there. So it's really, really bad timing from my side, I have to say. Or if anybody still has no plans, and I would love to meet people. So, but I told my kids I would not work in that time frame. So it's sort of a promise they made me do, and which doesn't mean I cannot read Telegram or just look at my phone. But I'm not going to write or agreements or terms and conditions during that time. It will be quite hard. From mid-August, then 16th onwards, I'm available, and I will. It's still outstanding if I will participate in the Berlin week. Probably more likely at the end. There's a panel that I might be participating in, but it's not confirmed. So, and if it's not confirmed, I don't think it's necessary for me to travel there because it would just incur costs, and I think there's enough people already there. In September, I'm actually available. No traveling, nothing planned. I do have like in my private life, I'm moving apartment, so I might have to do some stuff in September to make that possible. But other than that, I'm available. So that's from my
So
side.
can you review hours per week, maybe like how many hours per week next week? And
Yeah, well, it's hard for me, but I mean, I'm available for the tasks I have to do. If I think in the past I've done 10 hours or a bit more per week. So that is definitely possible. And,
except for the weeks from September 5th to
August 3rd to 16th. Yeah, okay. Exactly.
And Z.
Good to see.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to put numbers since most of my stuff is like support and highly concurrent, but I suspect that there'll be a very large number of hours. For the next month, my entire work is essentially writing talks, supporting Jeff, and like preparing across. Like I'm doing the sort of academic stuff that we talked about with Sherman and others, which is foundational but not directly related. I'm giving CAD tutorials, I'm giving cybernetics talks, and I'm giving almost everything is related but overlapping because my role is research oriented. So from a direct perspective, I would say it's probably whatever Jeff needs and that's it. And from an indirect perspective, it's probably a very large portion of my time because like all this is ongoing R&D across technology, governance, and mechanism design.
Nice. Okay. Perfect. That's amazing. So wow, this sounds great. Sounds like we have a lot of good time commitments. Oh yeah, Kai.
Yeah, I don't have any clear commitments at this point, except some administration of the Jupyter Hub and the website and stuff like that. I do have some time, but seeing that I have no clear accountabilities, it doesn't matter so much, I guess. I could do 10 to 20 hours for most of the days until East Berlin, but then I'll be in Berlin with Spanner and Bernd, hopefully, and some other people. Yeah.
10 to 20 hours each week.
I mean, it's possible, but I don't think it will be needed anyway.
Oh, we'll find things for you.
We can hang out in Vienna too. I have some thoughts if you want to play around with some of the stuff my team's done on the implementation side, but that's more like if you have time and it seems like a good use.
Totally, yeah, I forgot about the Vienna things. I would like to support you guys when you're in Vienna. I hope the date is convenient for me. But we'll see.
I think I'll get to Vienna at it's like, so I want to say it's like the 8th through the 17th or something like that of August.
Yeah. Did you say, Kai, that you might have some kind of like family things or any like dates that you think you're going to be stuck on?
Yeah, I will be in my, like where my parents live again from somewhere next week. So like, let's say from the 1st to the 9th or something, but that doesn't mean I cannot work. It's just I'm not in Vienna.
Okay. Okay, so it's really, really important that everyone goes into the calendar, and you can do it now. It's cool to do it now. And you go into your Google Calendar and you say the days that you might be like less than an hour a day. right? Like like Coach B had some days, Adam, you had some days, right? Just make a calendar event with C-Stack calendar, right?
Yeah, so just make a calendar event on your calendar and invite cstackcalendar@gmail.com.
It's literally doing this.
And just put your name in the title of the event, and ideally something expressing if you're out of comms or if you're completely no internet. Maybe you title it Griff No Internet, or
Just
maybe
like
Coach
one event at
B.
the
It could
beginning of
be
the period and one at the
No,
the whole thing
event.
stretching across.
Starts at the time that you're unavailable and ends at the time that you're available. Right. And just have that span. I mean, dude, the calendar for C-Stack already has me, and it's just fucking wild. It's like, oh my god, Griff's just not around. Right?
It's cstackcalendar@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darren, just
Can
put
you
it
put
in
it
the
in?
core again.
Oh, nice. Thank
For
you.
example, for Coach B, you could say the event name could be Coach B Chats but no work or something like that.
Yeah. And for me, it was like, Griff is totally unavailable from 17th to this for Burning Man. Or I didn't say the 17th stuff, but for Burning Man, like, build week.
Yeah.
Totally unavailable. And Griff is like, difficult to reach, is what I said. But, like, yeah.
Right.
Extra details,
Good.
good. Good details, nice.
But put your name in the
Communication.
beginning
Best
of a long
channel to communicate or like if there is one.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, I'm away, but we'll respond to WhatsApp.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
There's also, event descriptions if you want to really get super detailed.
Extra details are great.
Just a note on because you said, Lorelai, that if people need Griff, that they can contact you.
Yeah.
Like last year we had internet at 4 a.m. until 6 a.m. only. So just
During the burn.
During the burn. So just know that during that week, it might be possible that you can really not contact us at all. Griff made it possible because you'll be on the special hub, but most of us not.
Yeah, and we have a different internet setup, so who knows?
Who knows? That's the thing.
Who knows? Okay, so that was that happened a little bit longer than I expected, but this next session I think can be a little bit shorter. Maybe I'll just talk about decision-making processes. Let's have a little fun game. Mix things up, right? What is? Let's just go around the table. No other talk besides one word. What is your favorite governance method, decentralized governance method out there? Okay, here's the options: meritocracy, plutocracy, one person, one vote democracy, liquid democracy, futurarchy. Is there any others?
You have to choose one.
You have to choose one. One.
I don't really know Vero future key what it means.
Yeah. Well, don't choose it. Don't choose it. It's not your favorite, clearly.
Okay. Yeah, no.
So meritocracy, plutocracy, one person, one vote democracy, liquid democracy, quadratic voting, but liquid democracy is not quadratic voting.
Is it easy for us or for some?
This is just a fun
Yeah.
one-word game. Is there any others that I'm missing?
Yeah.
Holacracy? Okay, we could say holacracy. I don't know. That's not bad.
Conviction voting.
Conviction voting? Sure. Conviction voting. I wanna say not conviction voting because we're too biased. So no conviction voting. That doesn't help the goal of this exercise.
Sorry.
It's good though. I'm hiding the goal. Okay, so oligarchy, yeah, plutocracy. Oh yeah, dictatorship.
Dictatorship. No, I
Yeah,
think
that's
we were
definitely
missing
it. Benevolent dictatorship. What's philocracy apparently. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that of these options, liquid democracy is my favorite. Max, holacracy.
I would pick now meritocracy at this moment.
Meritocracy.
I think there are aspects of the quadratic voting design that are interesting. I'm not gonna show it, but
I'm actually a big fan of sociocracy lately. Just interlapping, overlapping, kind of holacracy-ish.
Pass.
Pass. No favorites. Spunnet.
I will also go for the liquid democracy.
What about you guys, Burns?
Oh, I have no fucking clue. It's idiocracy.
Yeah. And
I pass.
Zargum?
Ooh, this is tricky. I was just saying to Baron that I struggle with the idea of breaking it down this way because the elements are like you compose them and you get arbitrary mixtures that behave.
Not a favorite one word.
Let's just say I prefer systems that are closed loop sustainable, irrespective of their components.
Okay. Kai?
Yeah, it depends so much on context, so it's really a crazy question. But I would go with sociocracy as well.
Sociocracy. Okay. Interesting.
What did
So
you say?
liquid.
Okay.
So Swanet and I said liquid democracy. Kai and Jeff said sociocracy. Those are the two that people like. I think that I think that both of those governance systems and holacracy all have one thing in common, at least, is that there's only one person who makes decisions, right? Like there aren't very many decisions that are actually finalized by a group. Decisions are generally best made by one person. And except for a few specific, like very specified things, but anything with details, one person makes the decision. And so we have a few open things. The one thing that I hope to decide on as a group and really like dive into is our timing for launching this thing. There's a selling point around tag, but it has a lot of dependencies. And so I'm hoping to kind of debate the inner workings, the details a little bit of whether or not we launch at tag. And then the rest of the decisions, I would propose, and I'm open to being rejected here, but I would propose that we take a liquid democracy style and we actually vote on who makes the decision. And then it's over. They make the decision. Okay. So we have some open things, and we'll after we debate the timing, after we debate timing, that would be my proposal. Does anyone want to like reject that proposal or?
Serious, I just was gonna say like with which mechanism are you gonna vote?
One person, one vote.
I want to support this. I want to frame it as we should decide, first who, decides, but that should be done in a way that is, transparent and sort of may change. So when we say so-and-so decides and should be informed by, maybe input from A and B, we would expect then to be provided with both the decision of the person and the recommendations of the people that we said that person should recommend. So it's transparent, right? So if we decide Vern's going to make a decision with, say, input from Zargum and Griff, we would say, well, Zargum said this, Griff said that, Vern decided this. That way everyone sort of knows that it wasn't unilateral, even if maybe Griff and I didn't agree and Vern had to make a choice.
Yeah, maybe when we vote, we can say first person is the decider, second person is the reviewer, right?
Yeah, I guess basically I'm just advocating that I like the transparency, but I also don't want to imply that everyone always has to agree. So the trick is to make sure that we have a process that both allows for, multiple opinions and those opinions themselves. It's almost like dissenting opinions on the Supreme Court. It's plausible that the final decision is made by the decision maker and that one of the people who we picked still actually didn't agree with the decision, but we can proceed.
Yeah, advice process, right? Like I think in the Giveth, that's what we call it. I assume you're familiar with the advice process idea, right? Like, yeah, it's holacracy style.
So the liquid democracy would choose not both roles in a sense. I'm saying that if we're doing a liquid thing, we would say we have two choices to make when we are functionally delegating a decision. One is the decision maker and the other is the sort of, say, two reviewers or like informers.
Yeah.
And a question on that, because sorry, I was distracted short night. the second person, is it like, do you have to get that advice, or is it, yeah, you could, or is it
You
like,
don't have to take that advice, but you have to get it.
okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Sure, it's making sure that we're not making uninformed decisions by improving the basis of information from which it's made.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. Anyone else have any inputs on this? Advice process. We will have a little voting session on all the open choices, and then we will implement. But the
Choose the designer and advisor.
yeah.
So we're choosing one decider for all the decisions and one advisor for all the decisions.
Yeah, well, I think, yeah, and I think kind of the for each decision, if there's like, you know, 2 advisors that are really high voting, you just take it. If only 2 people were voted for to make that decision, then that's kind of the idea.
So in liquid democracy, you can also choose to cast your own vote directly for the decision rather than.
Yeah, you can vote for yourself for sure.
I mean, we can make it a little lean. Like, it would really pay off to have those representatives, and then we can always have dissent, so as to reinforce the negative space. So really, usually you would go along, I guess, and if you heavily object. Otherwise, keep it lean.
Yeah, I like that.
Did we make any changes to our current governance system?
What we don't have right now, it's just me being dictator, I think, with a little bit of Z dictatorship too. Thanks, Z.
Yeah, it's totally improvement.
I mean, is there some problem about not trying to change the governance? Or?
I just want, not at all. I'm still holding the dictatorship at this moment because we don't have any shared funding. Yeah, it's not going to work for this project.
I'm sorry, Mangriff, I did not want to offend you in any way. I'm sorry.
I mean, I think there's just this logistical problem of like, if anything needs to get done, I have to pay for it. So like, that's like, it's when you don't have any shared resources, it's hard not to be a dictator. That's what I've discovered in Giveth. But then this is really so that we can have decisions and closure, and we can actually like, push for this raise.
Yeah, only mention or this footnote on that is like, can we then just say like that we at some point do an evaluation, like this chosen system is working, and not say this is as of now indefinitely?
Yeah, well, maybe we make a decision on internal governance too, and that's an open thing that needs to be decided. And I know who I'm voting for, not me. I'm voting for not me.
Wait, so you didn't address Jeff's question. Yeah. He was saying in liquid democracy, you're able to put your vote directly towards the decision, skipping over the representative part.
Yeah.
Is that will we retain that part of liquid democracy?
No. Well, what you're basically doing is saying I allocate my vote to be the decider.
So we are enacting a representative democracy.
I guess we are for this very small moment.
Okay, so this is just for these decisions today.
Yeah, just for these
we just
decisions
want one
today.
person to make the decision. We want everyone to decide who that person is.
Yeah.
Follow up on the decision.
Oh, it's just for today.
Decisions again?
We will get there.
Just for today.
Yeah. So, but the one that I think that we all need to really like agree to or come to some sort of strong consensus is the day that we do the launch, because that's like the day we flip a switch and everyone's got to be on for it. So right now we're saying, let's do it at TEG. That's less than a month away. We have some dependencies. I think that as long as we have the decisions that we already brainstormed in Telegram up, that we can do it. And it's just the decisions. Like if we, the biggest worry is kind of promising a token. But even if we promise a token and we fail, we can always just say, yeah, we're gonna issue the token later. Like once we do KYC or something. There's ways to cover our ass. But so I don't know. What do people think about launching at TEG?
I say that's plan A.
Plan A. So you like TEG? Let's go with this. Does anyone not like TEG?
Can we talk a little more about what it implies first?
Sure.
Because I'm confused. Like, what you say that means everyone is starting to be like really on and really needed, but like half of us are going to turn off at that point for the burn.
Yeah.
So, what does it mean? Like, what exactly does the launch entail, and what happens in the 2 weeks after the launch?
2 weeks after.
Which is not a launch. Well, I guess it's a fundraising launch.
Yeah. I mean, the 2 weeks after is just collecting money and shillings.
Comms.
Yeah.
Our channels are going to be blowing up once we, especially if we're funneling all this attention between Z and myself. We have like 8 talks, and Z is going to be presenting all his research and driving focus to the Common Stack as an implementation of that research. I'm going to be in talks basically launching the project and soliciting fundraising from all of these big donors. So we are going to have a lot of attention in our channels. We're going to have a lot of questions. We're going to have a lot of FAQ stuff coming up. We should probably have some people in the comms channels. We should be prepared for lots of questions, lots of communication, and yeah, people picking apart our project, like happened with conviction voting. You know, like we have all these nitpicks all of a sudden, which we're going to have to explain. We're not offering a fully fleshed out solution. We're offering an iterative token engineering design framework. But anyway, it's going to be definitely in the few weeks after. I would expect a big overload.
A big comms push.
Yes.
Everyone
Yes.
here, all these people here are off the grid, including Zargan. So, like, we will not be able to respond to any of these questions. It's all on Giveth.
Oh yeah, Zargan, we didn't get that from you. Are you going to Burning Man? Oh, you're muted.
I haven't yet sat down and ground through and paid my dues and all that shit, but it's my plan. I'm just, well, that whole hours thing, I haven't had any of those. But it's,
Yeah.
I think this weekend it's on my to-do list. I might need some help from someone since I'm a little bit scatterbrained.
Yeah, let's hang out and we'll make this happen. So basically, one of the stipulations is that we need everyone available on comms who's not at Burning Man, right?
I
Jeff?
also think that's crucial.
Yeah, I can. So you're talking about the 16th of August,
The 23rd,
23rd.
until September 6th.
And for my part, I'll have a little bit of a lag because I'm actually not flying back I have to be at TAG. So I'm flying on the 24th to California, and then I probably, for whatever reason, is just going to show up on like the 25th. So I'll be like a little bit available, but I guess I'll be on a plane. So yeah.
It's tough to promise my full availability because that really is when I was like talking about scheduling. So I could at most commit to popping in, but not to like fully manning the guns during that.
And Jeff is already gonna be, until like all the presentations and at TAG, etc. He's gonna be like burning every energy element left in his body, and then he will be all alone. It's an important thing to really stand still at for a moment.
So Coach B, Zargam, Svanet, I want to make sure you guys have a chance to talk. And Kai.
Maybe I can just pitch in one of the learnings that I had during our token sale for Swarm City is indeed that once you launch that thing, people start asking questions in all kinds of channels. But the benefit that we have is that they're all asynchronous channels. So if someone asks a question on Reddit, for example, because that was one of the major channels there, you have a chance to respond whenever it fits, you know. So you don't have to be like 24/7 available to actually answer questions in real time. But still, you need to have some people, and it's also. It was also perceived good if different people of that same group respond to same topics. It really starts interacting with people. But like I said, I think it's an asynchronous task. So as a matter of availability, I mean, we'll probably all be in different time zones and so forth. So I think there will always be someone to quickly respond to a question, but also to have like a diversity of people answering questions. So I think that's my takeaway of that period then.
I have a note too that amongst all of our work on comms, there's been a lot of discussion about coming up with questions and sort of FAQs and distilled materials. So I think there'll probably be an extra day worth of work for someone, but we could make a response kit and then essentially distribute it. And as a result, not only will our own team be able to respond, but ideally people who are like in our broader community will be able to respond if we take the time to just curate our own work that we're already doing into something that's we just like call a response kit.
Chris and I talked about that yesterday, kind of bringing in some of the little bit wider community to help with that kind of communication once we finish this, like our narrative blurb summary, and just giving people the tools of this is how we are framing this. These are the questions, having some people on hand who we can say, hey, if you see questions in the channels, can you go into the FAQ, find that question, copy, paste, drop it in. There are definitely some things we can do, but one thing I just want to be careful with is to, we talked about this a few times, like overpromise, underdeliver. I would hate to have a big attention funnel focusing on a launch, and then I'm sure we're going to get lots of projects reaching out to us, people very excited about what we're building, people who want to be involved, and I'm sure these are, some really great contacts and whatever, and I would just hate for them to sit unanswered for a couple of weeks, and then they're like, well, what's this big launch, and then nobody's getting back to us, and what are these guys doing anyway? Oh, they're all at Burning Man? What the heck kind of project is this? I'm not saying that's a,
that's a risk. That's a really important, right? So the whole point is that we know that that's a risk and we need to actively mitigate it because we can handle it having observed it. It would have been a problem if we ignored it.
I feel the same pretty heavily. So what is actually the reason why it has to be that date? Or let's do it the other way. I have now heard 5 reasons why we shouldn't do it there.
That's by far our biggest megaphone in terms of getting people's attention. We're not going to get another opportunity to speak as frequently with as many people from all over the world at any point. It's a temporal bottleneck in attention that we can't reproduce.
That is completely true, but an argument to possibly not launch at that moment is that you're dealing with token engineers who, and most of all those people are very intelligent, critical people who get information and then really want to deep dive and inform themselves and not immediately take a decision. So actually giving them about 2 weeks or 3 weeks to dive in and say we launch as of that date.
So there's unfortunately, as smart as people are, I have a feeling that this is going to still be more into more motivational into it, it's intuitional, not that they might not continue to participate, but I find that that attention diffuses. It might even grow in volume, but it will spread out in space and time. And the kind of process that we're talking about is what I would call spectacle. It's concentrated, it's emotional. It's something that if we try to treat it like it's a system 2 thing, sorry to use the Kahneman language, even if it's system 2 type people, they're still going to be interacting with this in a system 1 way. And so we really need to acknowledge that even though we would prefer ideally that everything be very intellectualized and the decisions were made entirely through an analytical procedure, I have a feeling that real life doesn't work that way, or not just a feeling, observation.
So another thing, it will be a hot day. People will be distracted by their sweating. There's always system 1 coming in the way. I do feel maybe I haven't heard it, so because I was not part of all the discussions here. But as far as the launch is concerned, what are we talking about strictly? Because we could also say that we start registrations in earnest in that week. So we capture all the people and start the actual sale maybe a few days later at a time when C is back and Griff is back and Jeff is back.
I don't think that mitigates any risks, actually. I think that we're going to be maybe we should step back and ask, with this whole TEGG thing, like if we're doing a brand launch, all of the risk of people paying attention and us not responding is not mitigated by the fact that we're not doing like the fundraising part. Part of the reason for having the caps and the times is to sort of let the system feel itself out. Maybe we'll have a big burst of immediate donations. Maybe we won't. Maybe people will analyze it and donate later. So I would set aside the question of whether it's the donations or the registrations, and it's actually coming back to the question of the risk identified is that if we do a brand launch, regardless of what other stuff is specifically tied to that, we need to be available to nurture that attention growth.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things in response to what Kai said. I do think there's even though these are very smart people who, tend to make decisions in a very deliberate way, I'd still be worried about losing some momentum and enthusiasm from them if we really say, like, you can't get in now even if you want to, just start doing your research. Another thing about this tag event, I mean, this is a token engineering conference, so from an optics angle, I mean, this is like extremely on brand. It makes me super nervous to think about sort of throwing Jeff to the lions for a couple weeks, so to speak. I mean, I have an extreme amount of faith in you, but putting any one person like more or less fully on call, but at the same time, it seems like such the right event to launch at that I feel like we have to make it work.
It is definitely the opportunity for us to get out there. I really like taking on comms, like questions in the aftermath would be one thing. Taking on like walking everybody through payments and donations.
Yeah.
Like I that is too much. Like, especially with everything else that's still on my plate, like that would just be my nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm hearing is that there are a lot of worries about going all the way on this day. I might just propose like an option that I know Zargum's not going to like, but hear me out. What if we say, hey, we are opening up official applications to be part of the Common Stack, and we all want to like make this happen like really crazy efficiently. So we're all going to take, the Common Stack is going to take a break for a week or two. A lot of people are going to Burning Man. A lot of people are doing this so that we can all come back refreshed. We're going to apply, we're going to review the applications. And then on September 15th, we will allow anyone, we will choose the token engineers that everyone will get an email on whether or not they can do it. And then we launch full on.
We can have the application period during that period, but I don't, again, I think that we're like overly coupling things. There are a lot of things that are actually independent decisions about specific processes. So like, I think it needs to be the case that you're able to donate, contribute. It does not guarantee that you're on the whitelist because we have a multi-stage process. We mapped out the process. If we don't end up having anything other than our initial sort of pre-qualified advisors during that period, but other people are submitting applications, that's fine. There's nothing stopping it from moving slower. I do not think that we can reproduce this scenario, and I don't think that we should try to. I think that we should recognize the weaknesses and fill them in. And to Jeff's point about operations, what that implies to me is that we might have to staff a support person or two to handle babysitting. And if that's not high grade, like, we have comm stuff sorted. If we're talking operations-y stuff, maybe we have to find someone who's not going to Burning Man, who we have to pay to be available for a week to handhold, has a Common Stack email address that says help@Common Stack. If that's the gap, then we should fill the gap, not rewire everything else we've talked about.
Well, I think the other gap is just people need breaks. I know Chris and Jeff have both said that they are like kind of burning the candles at both ends. And if we, especially Jeff, if we really rely on just Jeff.
I can relate, but there's an issue going back to what Adam said, is that like these are momentum systems. Like taking the break at the wrong time costs far more. And not that people aren't going to take a break or tune down a little bit, but like we're talking about a scenario where we've been like building, constructing, and like getting ready for something that I think is like Yeah, it's like, I don't know, I played Ultimate Frisbee for a long time, right? And often when I was coaching, what I would tell people is that a lot of times winning came down on the long points, on the hard points, came down to the team that like could just, and again, this is obnoxious, but like hold out for like, yeah, bust your ass the whole point, end the point, get off the field and rest, and someone swaps in and, takes that spot on the field. But if you like kind of try to rest on the field before the point ends, you're going to lose the point. And if you do that too much as a team, you're going to lose the game. And
No, that makes total sense. See, but the thing is, I get your worry about that, and we're building momentum, but you also have to be realistic. Like having some extra support system, people that we just train last minute before we leave, on top of everything that we
it's not optimal by any means. Yeah, I'm not trying to say that it's a substitute.
And it's more than not optimal. You can have a huge risk that you are gonna kill the momentum even more, because that person is the person who needs to hold the hand of the people who really want to sign up. And this is a very important, high responsibility role.
I guess so basically what I'm trying to say is that we have a problem and we need to solve it, but I also don't think that I just like can't see pushing again as a feasible option.
Well, what if
I want to find a way to solve the problem and like to identify it, but like,
well, so what if we condense the period still? Like, because if we,
that's not the issue. It's not the back side; it's the front side.
It's really setting the expectations, right? Like we don't want to overpromise, underdeliver. If we set expectations that, guys, we're launching, see ya.
That's where
like that's
this is a real problem. I'm not happy about it. I wish that we could move Burning Man. Obviously, we're not going to move Burning Man. I'm very much viewing this, everything that we've done thus far and planned, and we're ramping up for, and like planning events, networking, a lot of the behind the scenes, very more like political, connecting with people, getting people on board. All of that stuff is just like been funneled down to this in a way that is not it's not fungible at all. So like I want to solve the problem, but I just think that we have to frame it in terms of, okay, people need rest. People are going to be unavailable for Burning Man. What do we need? How do we fulfill those things? Like we can, and I'm also not saying that we aren't going to, think about what aspects we're launching when, but I'm being pretty clear that like we have a hard brand launch at TEGG. Part of the hard brand launch necessarily requires the ability to contribute, even if we don't say that this is the primary time to do that. Because we have a multi-stage process, which means that we can emphasize the application part and slow roll out of it. But I still think it needs to be possible for people to contribute. And in particular, the people who we have been working with to sort of pre-soft circle, ideally we want to be able to say, hey, some people got in already. Why? Well, these are, advisors or whatever. We had already done the KYC application processes. But then if other people are coming in, they're like, oh, here's the application process. Well,
so you're saying that we do basically advisors and core team can buy in?
Yeah, and I'm saying that because they've already done the process where and again, maybe we need a breakout session to segment this. I'm just saying like we're attacking this like it's one big decision. It's actually a structured set of sub processes. So the part where we launch our brand, I think, has to happen. Then there's aspects of the processes that some will be supported and some won't. And we actually have to solve it at the sub piece level, not at the we're launching or we're not launching.
So I think it's really important we launch at TEG. There is no opportunity to launch like TEG. And it's just the perfect, this is right in line with our narrative. We are launching Moloch DAO plus ABC as our iteration 1. It's the token engineering commons. For token engineers, by token engineers, using token engineering, it has to be at TEG. The question is, what comes with the launch? Yes. Are we saying we're open to donations, our contracts are live? I think that's aggressive for the resources that we have for the 2 weeks after that. If we say we are now officially live, the Common Stack project is going, and applications are open because we are being a little bit exclusive about this, because this token comes with rights to participate in future hatches, and it comes with some limited governance around the Common Stack. We want to be very clear that we want token engineering experts, governance experts. We don't want any one person to own, have the whale's share of these tokens, etc. So we're going to be doing this in a deliberate, careful way, but applications are open. Here's where you do it. And, we can talk about, or I don't know if we want to say we have like soft commitments of X or anything.
All that, Jeff, but I'm saying that make sure that if we can, turn our soft circles into actual commitments, because with our advisors and such, my argument is, and like core team members, it's very reasonable for us to basically say, and through this process, we have already pre-qualified people in this process so that it's not empty.
Yeah.
But new people still have to go through the process, but we are seeding it and saying, look, it's Trent, it's Eden, like take your time into this application because these are the people you want to be like.
Yeah.
I have a on that. So yeah, so to support on Jeff's point, and indeed also what you were just saying, you can indeed say when we are at this launching momentum moment, all those people have already committed. This is something that we can do now in the coming weeks, and we already planned anyway. So we do that. But we also said yesterday in like prepping the communication flow that some automated mails go out, or that Jeff can even manually send because he'll be there. But it's like when people went through the sign-up form, that they have some communication and that there is immediately some responses. And we will do the FAQ, we will have all those things ready so that we can also train some people to respond to some of the immediate questions. And in that way, we keep the momentum completely going.
Right, and we offload the high burden to the date that we set for the first round of reviews to go, the responses to go out, and that can be a few weeks later without it being problematic.
I'm okay. That's all of this. I'm down. It makes sense to me.
And I also just wanted to say, I was looking around my different calendars and emails with people. I think I can commit maybe the first like 3 days after tag to be available to like
for like full time almost.
It's not
for 3 days.
If that's what you guys, if you guys need 3 days of full time,
that would be very helpful for
absolutely
sure, to answer questions. Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if you're already there. It's like, I'm like a bit unsure.
And you will be helping on the FAQ document, so that's.
I'll be doing that before then. And hopefully that'll be a good resource to help during this process. But yeah, I think I can complete it.
Yeah, and the same also goes for me. I mean, I'm also available these days. So if people need like technical assistance, if they want to get on a whitelist, or even if they want to make a donation, I mean, I was also wondering how many of these applications are we looking at, because we're stating the problem as if we're talking about 10,000 applications, but I don't think that
I think we're talking about 300 applications.
Exactly. So maybe we should also keep in the back of our minds what the size of the problem is. I mean, it's a whole different problem if it's like 100 people or 100,000 people, you know.
But 300 or 100,000 is almost the same in the sense like then you will have a scalable solution to handle those people, and 300 for one person, that person being Jeff on his own, follow up on them, that's just not going to happen. So I think with the proposal that we make now, it makes sense. I just wanted to make one extra note. Is right now, I realized it again yesterday by following back people and doing some growth hacking with our Twitter account. We have 200 followers with the common stack. So in our head, we can say everyone knows us, but that's not really true. So we will be building that momentum for sure. It's gonna be already explosive as it is. So that's already gonna be a huge win with everything that Zargam and Jeff now said. If we get to that, we can say 2 weeks and then 15th of September, bam.
Okay. So I think this discussion has been pretty fruitful. We need to take a 10-minute break. And now we're going to turn this timing discussion, into an actual roadmap. Max has one last chance to facilitate a meeting, and so I want to take him up on it because he has to leave at 11:45. You have to leave talking with us at 11:45 right now. Walk out the door.
Walk out the door, but I also had to prepare this as well.
Okay.
Did you say 10:31?
11:45. So let's take a 5 to 10 minute break and come back. And we're going to do a roadmap, like a hardcore roadmap discussion for the next 2 or 3 months. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Thanks. Oh, token engineering retweeted our picture. I was hesitating if I would tweet it with Giveth and comment stack, but it's good. They have a nice following, I think, right?
They have our following.
They have 1,000 followers. It's not huge. It's not a big audience.
Oh, yeah. The curation part, that's quite a
Maybe
bit.
1,000 people. I forgot with that conclusion we reached, like, oh yeah, because that was a very good spin point.
Spectators sometimes how like close we come. It's like, yeah, let's stay. Wait, everyone's leaving. Oh my god.
Well, yeah, because we've been so in it this
Yeah,
week.
This is why we needed to launch it. That was always
That's behind us.
exactly. But now we're in this situation where, I mean, I feel like if we actually like describe the messaging of like we can spin this to, you know, we are all taking a break so that we can run. I don't think we can say that.
You don't
I mean,
even have to mention that.
Everyone's going to bring it. People, we have to say it. We have to say it. We have to say.
No, we can't say. We can't say we're launching, but we're all going.
We're not launching.
We are launching.
We're launching, but for this project to be a success, everyone needs to be fresh to start it.
Yeah, but you know, you could also say from their perspective, they don't care about us and that we are going to Burning Man. They like, what the fuck? You can just say like, we are giving you the time to inform you. We will answer all your FAQs in. Join the comments, tag Telegram, join us there. Follow us on Twitter, blah blah blah. Here is all the information. This is on Medium. This is that. And then we'll get back to you and you'll get. But subscribe now.
I don't know. I feel like I'm sort of one of the front men of this project, and for me to just be completely absent, it should be addressed.
It should be mentioned.
Yeah, everyone knows Griff is a Burning Man. We don't need to say our whole team is gone.
Yeah, that's the thing. That sounds good.
And we all need a break. We could just.
Yeah, saying we need a break is
Griff. That's not part of our message.
it's not good to start. We're launching.
People are like, "What? Why are you guys
tired?
tired?"
We don't have a lot of
what take a break.
Yeah, that.
And the tech we have to.
Of course, we have to launch it.
But I think we're
How we launch.
We just need to manage the expectations of like it's going to be a comms nightmare one way or another. It's like nightmare is a good thing. We're going to have a flood of messages, a flood of questions. Nightmare in the sense
It's
that
going to be
there's only a few
your
people,
question
like,
6
responding
is
to that.
this launch. We already asked that.
The part that I'm like
That
that.
we didn't see because
If-
we were
if-
so
if-
deep in it.
What else do we have going in September for make this
I
news?
totally
Find out.
picture Jeff
Like,
just
I
out
can just
there
focus
on
on
his
comms.
own.
We can just like answer questions and not have a back. I mean, like, it's
If you would have stuck with it,
putting out
I would
articles,
not go to Burning Man.
We should be turning
I haven't
into
even had
something
to
like
touch
that.
my anyway, so I was thinking about it.
hopefully
Not
that's
Yeah.
done.
because
I mean, that's what I was thinking about in this session too.
What are you guys thinking about?
Not going to Burning Man.
Yeah, when Z was saying I really want to do it in that way, then I had already decided that I'm staying here because this project is going to fail if Jeff has to do it all by himself. Not that I don't trust him, but it's just a human being.
Yeah.
It's just brutal for any one person to have. Yeah. Do communications and the account management and the follow up of all the people. That's like
But
definitely that
if
can
we can identify the things that like are going to push it over the edge, like if I had to walk every single person through how to send money into a token contract, it would not work.
yeah.
If I had
Well,
to sit
what
on
if it was
Telegram and answer questions for 24 hours a day, I mean that's more reasonable than trying to figure out and like if there's some technical glitch and like that's stuff
Yeah.
where I'm like I can't do
Yeah, I mean, we could just not launch the token, right? Like,
applications open.
applications are open.
Get
We
tons of
have,
questions.
we actually are already, 300, we only need another, $500,000 to our goal. We set the date of like,
Right, we've already got soft commitments up to this.
no, not even supplements. We have raised.
We have raised from our.
But how did
Well,
we raise it? The token is not available yet.
Well, we
They
can
send
take the money and then.
So they're like,
This happened? Oh,
it's a new class.
sorry.
Hey guys, can I just pitch in one observation still from our token sale back in the days in Swarm Cities that there was a totally different kind of like content that we produced before the token launch and after it, in the sense that after the token launch, it was really like babysitting people who wanted to invest and just repeat same answers over and over again, like in different forums in different chat groups. But like before that token launch, it was mostly about content creation, like explaining it and distributing that message and like pumping up the hype towards the event. And after the launch of that token generation event, it was more like just repeating questions and like taking snippets out of the white paper and pasting it back into a Reddit forum, so to speak. So it was not about like creating new content on the fly. It was more about just rephrasing content or just plainly repeating the same content over and over again. So it's, I think that's also one thing to consider.
Has anyone ever used Text Expander?
Oh,
Sorry?
yeah.
Text Expander, it's like autocomplete on steroids. It's like you type like, this is what I did
it's
during
like
the DAO.
autocomplete for whole sentences.
Does it work in Telegram?
It's like it works. Yeah, it's kind of like Grammarly, where it scans everything you type. But if you, which is scary, right?
Yeah, you type
But
3 words and it can make an entire paragraph.
I type hashtag contact, and then all of my contacts come up, all my like phone numbers and everything just pops up right there. Yeah, I type in hashtag trans, and then the live stream comes up.
We should have a Jeffifier.
Yeah, you can share with Text Expander. You can actually share your. You can share an account. Well, you can share like it's all online, so you can like say this is the common stack Text Expander list, so that we can just constantly be iterating the same responses that for everyone. So we can say like Ponzi, hashtag Ponzi. Anytime someone types in hashtag Ponzi, fucking 10 paragraphs pop out. Explain why it's like a legitimate nonprofit
But
solution.
Text Expander
Are you
is
gonna stay up here for the next session?
I think so. I think.
Yeah, and also I don't know how the experience was during the DAO days, but in our token event it was also the case that people from our community, people who already invested, also start becoming like supporters of your message. So they also start responding in a positive way because they've read all the information. They are so convinced that they already invested or at least committed something, and then they start being your advocate for your project. So that's also an extra resource that you tap into unwillingly. It's also uncontrollable, but it's also very authentic because it's not someone of a team. It's really a third external party talking in a positive way on your project. That's about the most.
Yeah. That's one of the things we want to do actually also, like with the FAQ that we're going to finish in the coming or continue on in the coming weeks. We had already planned that like we brief some people like Andreas and some others, like, hey Andreas, this is the document. So if we're away and this question comes up, just copy paste.
Yeah, Andreas is probably the best person to solicit for assistance here. He's so into it.
And he's well informed because like
he's
that's
smart.
the thing.
He knows what to say, what he can't say.
Yeah, because with Swarm City, that was maybe less important in that sentence, that these ambassadors were just saying like, yeah, and we're in, remember, with all the circles of like we're the founders of Swarm City, all those extra people who were saying that. But like here, they will ask very specific questions like how does the token bonding curve work in the conviction voting, blah, blah, blah. All of that is going to need to be in the FAQ because otherwise people are going to spread wrong information. And for our audience, it needs to be really the correct in order for them to make the investment.
But is that really the tone of voice? Because for what I've heard, it's more, or the way I interpret it, it's more like we need the funds to continue our research and build stuff. So I think it would be a fair answer in certain scenarios that we say, yeah, we don't know the answer yet. That's what we're going to find out. That's why we need to fundraise to enable this. So I don't expect us to have to come up with an answer for every question.
No, we won't have the answers to every question, but we already have answers to many questions. And then I prefer that we give the right answer
And I can just give the example of my own fail in that I answered something that I thought was really right because I copied it from a document and it wasn't. And then Jeff and Griff and Z like responded to that one person to like say the right information. I don't even remember who it was. It was Aaron. And now there's only going to be Jeff, who might have to counter some enthusiastic person who's really spreading wrong information because he's just enthusiastic, but he doesn't know shit. But
yeah, but then again, I mean, it's also a sort of continuum. It's not because one question gets fucked up or one person, because of wrong information, is not convinced to contribute something. I mean, there are like still like 299 other people down the line. You know, it's
true.
yeah. So it's not because you fuck one answer up that everything is down the drain.
Yeah, they just put the blender on, so we can literally not hear you anymore. But yeah, okay, it's already done. No, but it's a good point. It's like we can't counter it. The only thing is like yeah, it has a lot. I've been looking into his exhausted face all week. And his soul.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Are we?
But good point.
Are we basically ready?
Yeah.
So Max, do you want to? Is everyone on the live stream ready?
Yeah, I can share the screen and we can go.
I think you are. Yeah, everyone is still here.
Okay. Well, let's get this party started. Max, do you want to take the speaker? No, your computer sucks. I forgot.
Yeah.
Those new Macs, man, I tell you, I'm still pulling out.
Next. Next.
Can you invite me to that board? It's a bit too late now to ask why we're not using GitHub, but
Who was it? Kai. Yeah, you are there under the email Kai@giveth.io.
I might have a user already.
Yeah, tell me your other mail.
No, it's the right email, but it's maybe also authorization. Are you able to go to the? Did you get an invite, Kai? Or not? If it's because
I didn't see one. Should I try click the link here?
Yeah, just try to follow the link and see.
All right.
Oh wow, I didn't know Asana integrated.
Oh, thank you, Spawnman.
Ooh, Asana integrates with GitHub.
So
Thank God.
now this Google Calendar as well.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Why is
It
Asana
looks like you don't have access to this. Multiple accounts. Yeah, you can you invite this guy?
Okay.
Thanks.
Instead of previous one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, done.
Thank you.
Good. Everybody's ready? I
Yes.
share my screen.
No, I'm not ready. I'm sorry.
I'll be sharing my screen, but also I would love you to log in first, check if you see everything correct, and also I would ask you to help a bit with screen.
you already have the Android.
Can I add another category to the Asana?
Where do I have an Asana?
Yeah, what would be the category?
The category is like, I don't know how to say it, like if you need to spend money, like sign off on spending money.
You can put it in logistics maybe for now, right?
All right.
That's our catch-all. We'll go ahead.
Yeah, Lloyd, what did you ask?
I don't know where to find my invite.
Your spam and Giveth.io.
Spam.
Yeah, because it's like Giveth.io has tracked always.
Is everyone else on Asana as well?
I've sent it to Lorelai at Giveth.io. And you can also do it to
Applications?
I think I'm not on it. Do you want me to paste my mail address?
come again.
If you have, I invited him.
Yeah, do you want my mail address or?
Yeah, let
Let's
me
see,
see.
Spunet's under here. Who's Spunet though?
At Stefan at ponet.com.
Yeah, I think it might be better to use my Gmail address, but I'll paste it in the.
Yeah, please send it through. Okay, good. Yeah, so if you could log in, please check up the tasks you have to yourself. Check if you understand them. Could you please put the possible date? It's not like it would be like make it or die, but just at least to have an overall feeling like what's coming near, what's a bit later. And if you also see that some task is missing, please add. And if you don't understand the task, some of them are not too complete. Just leave it out without the date, and we'll go and discuss it. And let's dedicate 5 minutes to that.
It's very much on. If you're not
It's on as
here,
well,
please.
yeah.
I cannot
That's
sit
why
here.
I don't see it.
This seat is empty for the pizza. It's on.
Getting the old sauna right now.
So chill out over here.
Kai, it was quite the debate for Asana versus GitHub. We decided to try Asana for the fundraise and then reassess.
It's great. I have nothing against Asana, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and also I'd rather focus on the fundraising project. I see there are a few projects added, but let's focus on what we need for the fundraising.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really fine.
So we'll set it. You're saying the due date, Max, but it's not super binding, or we should put it as a note.
Yeah. Because probably there would be more task than time, and we just want to understand if
When we want to be getting them done.
Priority,
Yeah.
yes. It's not that you get longer.
Ooh, printing stickers on the 8th. That's fun.
Oh, you actually could.
Yeah, you can get fired by the common staff. Hell yeah, you can. This is a red organization.
Yeah. So, Laura and I can go in and Sana and say that activity escalate.
You don't work here anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that Asana? You can't access it anymore.
We're not saying badges, we're saying token tokens.
Yeah, I'm
That's what we
going
decided.
to
Token tokens. Sorry.
Okay, so how do we... I hope out of this we can have a relatively clear timeline of stuff in this Asana. What do we gotta... How's this
you
start?
check out the fundraising project overall.
Mhm.
Yeah, and this is basically the roadmap I see on the.
Okay, so is this... So in the fundraising list, if there's things missing, we add them, or we add dates?
Yeah, if we we want to set up some dates, at least what's the first priority to be now, so we can track it via calendar on our calls. If we miss something, when we realize that we add to this stuff.
So the goal here is that everyone needs to put dates for all of their projects.
At least for those for the tasks they understand.
Okay, so Spunet has the fundraising DAP, and we need dates for all of this stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, how do I? Okay, you know what I've always been confused about in Asana is sections. Like, I don't know. Like, I can never seem to. I don't know. Maybe I'll formulate my question when I run into the bug again. But they only seem to be created when I don't want them, and not created when I do want them.
Yeah, they changed it a bit recently. So it's previously if you put like double dots, it would create a section instantaneously, and now they removed it. You need to click on the add section below.
Max, small question. I see one task for me, which is called TX confirmed emails. What does that mean? I would assume it maybe something like people are receiving an email after they donated or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Is Jeff in here?
He's downstairs, but yeah, he's all over the place.
But I don't see the
he's not
stuff.
in-
Sounds like a fun thing, Sponhead, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like his face
Yeah,
next to
right.
it.
It's about it's like a feature that we send you the message we got your funds.
Yeah, and so that's an example of where I'm now gonna follow that task because like it's assigned to you because you have to make that technically work that we can link that up. But like for example, I will be writing some content maybe for that email.
Yeah.
Right?
So I can include subtask here, like provide texts and assign it to Chris.
Yes.
And set up, I don't know, maybe cancel or something.
Wait, can I make multiple assignments?
No, there's always one assigned person to the task, but you can mention them or just followers to the task.
How do they add such a subtext?
The button is it's a bit out.
I saw class coming.
Do you need another minute? Or
Yeah.
let's.
But where's Jeff? He's not in our organization yet?
No,
Jeff is downstairs.
here.
And
I don't mean where is he geographically. I mean,
I'm in here. I have lots of tasks.
if you go for events/talks,
No, I found
and then Coach B, I don't see you assigning any dates. Or do you understand the goal of this moment right now?
I'm trying to understand it.
So it's basically like you have a bunch of tasks, and we need to kind of assign dates to when we think that they're going to be done. And so we just need the dates so that we can tell if we're on pace for the roadmap or not. It's kind of like a decentralized roadmap creation.
I see Jeff said in dates.
Yeah.
Okay. AML, what do you want in AML from me?
I broke something. Guys, I really broke. I tried to add something, and I think I moved a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I see that.
Can you undo that? I'm really sorry. I was just trying to move the interview into digital content.
Don't worry. It's like easy thing.
And then AML is like, I think it's something that we already have decided. It's about, I think it might be implementing Typeform, maybe? I don't know.
Typeform is already published, by the way, with terms and conditions and everything.
Yeah. And does it have the question about, I just added a question about Ether address that was missing.
But that wasn't.
Kai's in here too, right?
Yep.
I'm here.
Did you see my issue that I made on the Typeform about the Ethereum address?
Oh no, you did? Nice. I just made one like those. Because I thought, oh, we need to have their address if we want to send them any messages. Which is really a nice thing, Sponhead, huh? To send automatic messages if you receive a transaction. Sounds like a useful service.
Yeah, we already have that in place for on our Avado website, because if people pay in DAI for their box, they already get an automated email to confirm it.
This is great because we could actually hook up this type form. So one of the things I made, that's why I asked for the expenses, is we should really get the pro type form thing, at least for the duration of the crowd sale, to get these kind of things that we automatically send the address to a list. We grab that list and run it through your scraper.
Sounds good to me, man.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's sort of solved. We solved that when building that shopping cart for Avado, which is you're just paying in tokens in DAI.
Let's stay focused on the roadmap, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We could also like check general overview on all the list and maybe highlight what's important for you.
Yeah. So one thing I don't see here that I'm creating as a task is to we need to address what to do with Abby, and I think that can be under account management. Oh shit. Yeah, I don't know what. I just somehow.
I mean, yeah, also part of the roadmap. Abby could be the golden key for the time when everybody's gone.
Let's see. Yeah, the open discussions that we have are our governance system. That's like an unassigned decision-making process.
Is it connected with the fundraising though?
No. Nope. I guess not. It's not in fundraising. Maybe it's in logistics. Well, I don't know. I guess that's let's see. Account manager role.
It's part of fundraising.
Yeah.
Logistics is more like the
So we need to. Is there a way to just add a new task that just instantly goes underneath that?
Yeah. You just
Enter.
Ah, cool.
Another thing to keep this thing, just a suggestion to keep this project workable for everyone is if you
I have slides by the 16th I had on my list, but
if you have the idea like try in the beginning to like add a new project under the common stack, maybe double check with at least one person, because otherwise it's going to get cluttered and people are going to lose where the tasks are. That's just a suggestion. The second one is like download the app on your phone and disable the email confirmation for everything, because you'll get an email for any comment on your task.
the point account.
It sounds like sometimes they're like notifications that you want, right? And then sometimes they're not.
You can have it on your app. It's like
We crashed it, guys.
You crashed it.
I'm guessing we crashed it.
It's saying you crashed.
You crashed it.
I crashed it.
Otherwise, how do you feel about this?
It feels good. I hope that we can. I hope that we can actually hit these dates. There's a lot of tight dates.
Yeah.
So my permission just got taken out of adding something in the comment section while I was in the middle of making a task, and then it went crash the summon. Yeah, I was in the middle of typing a task, and then it was like, yeah, you don't have access to this anymore. And I'm afraid that because it says, like, it's not going to erase my whole task.
It's not the same.
I'm a little. I'll let you guys do your thing. I'm a little confused about communications not being part of fundraising.
I'm setting this up. I mean,
Yeah.
we have a lot of communications that having one project and every task lumped on the project is a recipe for disaster in my experience with project management software.
Okay. So then
fundraising, I mean, I feel like that is project critical tasks for the next month. Communications is a longer arc project that is ongoing. This is basically our roadmap for forever.
I really like the pivots to integrate within the communications thing. Like there's a lot of things there that I think we need to assign.
Get in there.
Yeah, these pivots to integrate were for us. When we discussed it, it's like assigned to Adam, Chris, and Jeff, and Griff, and Z, all of us. In the sense that in any document, because communication is really also everything that's like content related. So that's why we put it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you can assign them if you want to. So they're not really for everyone.
You still waiting, right?
Yeah, but I'm okay. We should push forward.
Yeah, let's maybe go through the list and just discuss the points number one.
Okay.
Okay, so first, publish, update the list of contributors. We told that we want to ask people if we can publish their names who supported the project.
Mm-hmm.
So far, we can't publish any names, right?
Just the advisors.
Advisors are there. Then, in this case, when will we get? When do you think we will get these new names we can publish?
Once, if it's in the type form, then whenever someone fills out the type form.
Okay, I'll check them next week.
Okay,
No, but so I guess they have to be approved on the whitelist before we use their name.
So the date
Yeah, also added a task for that so that I communicate probably with Coach B, I guess, to once they fill out the type form, when and how they get to being added on the whitelist, like in the smart contract, so to speak.
Let me let's open up questions and we'll write them down and I'll get them to the next meeting or something.
Yeah, well, I'm like taking a comment on this. Maybe you can go through them and just say like what it is, to make sure that people understand it.
Yeah.
And they can follow the issue if they want to. Mm-hmm. To model this one, and adding can be automated by integrating the Twitter list I create, tech whitelist, common stack tech whitelist, and then it's just like something that you don't have to do with add comments. It's a start of a discussion. And like you can, everyone can follow the ones that are relevant to them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Type form response sheet integrated with former Google Sheet response set to Chris.
I don't. By integrated, is it just like separate tabs?
No, it's just, it could be separate tabs. There's two different Google Sheets, or just Jeff wanted that task to say like, all the information having them in one sheet so that we can like really follow up.
I think that's just adding the old tab to the new tab to the new Typeform export.
Sure.
Typeform exports everything into a Google Sheet, Kai?
There are so many different things we can do with it. Right now, it's set to a Google Sheet, I think.
That's great. Can you just put the Google Sheet in this Asana task? Like a link to it, because I don't have a link to it at all.
I commented last time.
Yeah, and I also I already edited, so I changed the Google form to the type form. I added a catch for the GDPR.
Okay.
Chris,
Sure.
do you have an idea on timing of that?
Next week.
Yeah, then we need to ask this question. Can we publish your name as a contributor plus Ethereum address to the forum?
Yeah.
Okay, do you need have questions on that?
Yeah, Baron might need to double check that exact sentence or not. Because is it not a legal thing?
If anything, Spunnet needs to check it. Spunnet, I was going to say that we could have people give us the address that they send the ether from, but then at the time they send it, they can choose the address the tokens go to, like a proxy buy.
Yeah, sure. I mean, still have to make it, so I can decide to do it like that.
Okay, I'll add that to the.
Sorry, guys, but what is the purpose now of this meeting? Is it to look at Asana or to go through tasks? I'm not sure.
I'm just trying to fill mine in. I think it might be more working session.
It is in kind of a roadmap, so you will like see the dependencies on who, like, for example, I can't just do this task without somebody, or this is the first time we outlined tasks clearly, so maybe they are not like having enough information or something maybe not clear. So we are not checking if the roadmap is clear overall.
Okay, and do we do this by looking at the calendar, or?
I'm sharing the screen with the list of tasks and just going one by one as the due date, the assigned person is looking to do that, and if it's clear.
Okay.
Cool. Kai, is it clear on this form additions?
Kai?
Yeah. I have to upgrade the type form to add additional fields.
Yeah. To ask like if we can publicize your name as a contributor, and also ask for their Ethereum address.
Yeah, one question was we don't need an image, right? Just their name and address.
Yeah, we don't need them to submit a picture of themselves, I don't think, do we?
Nah, I don't think so.
And again, just like type your question so you can move on. Type them as a comment.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. If we have questions on any task, we should just type them in
just
Asana.
understand the question. That's the thing you need to do.
Yeah, right.
Good points.
On the Google search optimization, I will check. Like currently, what I saw and already resolved is that when you Google Common Stack, our wiki was like the second, and the website was the first, and the wiki was outdated. So I closed it, and I will check more how we look in the search query. Then we need to print stickers. Kai, do you have any questions on that, or would you like to do that at all?
I'm gonna follow up on that on the content for that.
I think it might be better to actually activate that site again and maybe add a forwarder or say visit commonstack.org for the info to have better than nothing.
You're talking about stickers?
I can make those very quickly.
Okay.
So the August date is fine. How many?
I'll discuss that with you, Kai.
All right.
Okay. Tech token Jeff. Jeff, any comments on that?
On Teg Talk?
Yeah.
Any notes on it?
Like I saw that like there's some overlap in communications. For me, like there's no other communication than fundraising communication now, right? Everything should be connected to that.
I think so for the most part.
Yeah, so that's like I saw that there's some like maybe task about the same, like tech CS launch presentation and so on. Would be nice to
link tasks.
We can put one task under another, and we can use tags as well. But what I mean is like tech talk needs to be the center point for our fundraising, right? So I put it here for this.
Yeah, no comments about it. That looks like a good list of tasks.
Web3 Giveth node as well, I think, right?
That'll be probably very similar.
Yeah, Burning Man, I think Giveth will just kill it.
That will also be a similar presentation advisor meeting.
Yeah. Also for the advisor meeting, Are there any other like logistics things like
yeah,
organize?
Agenda. I'll add that as a subject to do with that.
Yeah. Or should I add it or you would?
Yeah, let's do it.
Set agenda and I'll send to you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not adding like dates on subtasks. I think it's
No,
just
no,
more
no.
like just sure. DEFCON is too distant, or do we need to apply?
We need to apply next week for anything. I'm actually just adding DevCon CAD workshop here for Zargum because it's opening for a week, starting like next week. I don't know if it's starting this weekend or whatever, but for sure next week I think block science should really attack Dev. I assume that's part of your guys' roadmap anyway, right? Z. So I'm just making this task and we'll see.
Okay. Is he with us now?
Z, are you there?
I think. Yeah, I don't see him in the chat. So I saw him log in the Asana, so he has access. It's good. And yeah, let's check on our calls the status of this further meeting.
Can we try to add Sarah to this thing too?
Yeah, sure. Send me the email or just you can also invite. Just
I'll do that.
Here's the task about time off notices in the calendar. So Lori needs that, right?
Are you looking at the one I'm making, or did someone make a different one?
No, I just yeah. Just go into top to bottom, and I see this task, and it has no assigned person. I think you want everybody to do that.
The put August, September time off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm writing it right now, so that's why.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. By the way, I added this policy and other policies to our like strategy document. The bottom of our agreements on general stuff is already set. Just for the future. If you see my screen and we go to.
I'm not in this call.
Under which project is it?
It's in the end. It's policies. It's like what you written on the task and. That's and calendar. Don't use the word investor. It's old one.
So, are you saying that it doesn't need to be in Asana?
No. I'm just as a side note. If you need to check our policies, if you forgot which address to send us something, you can always check the policies, the strategy document.
I'm also putting.
I'm still in the call. No, because I'm just working on one.
Okay, but I'll put it to the account management maybe, or not, or it's just in event stocks now.
I put it there because it has to do with like scheduling.
Okay. Okay.
Dude, I'm going to just jump to something I really care about. Do we have a due date for the project information docs?
Yeah, and
this week is Friday.
I mean, as soon as we can have some time to work on them, they'll be done.
So maybe should we say Tuesday?
I don't know. Well, I guess I'm the only one working through the weekend. I would love to say Sunday.
I'm working through the weekend.
Can we say
sorry. I mean, my document people. Everyone else has taken off, I think. Leaving Barcelona.
I just don't believe that we'll actually get it done on Sunday.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So, and then prepping Airbnb.
Let's say Tuesday. But then it's actually done.
Yeah.
Right?
We're super close.
Yeah.
We have been working on it.
Is it one document or 3 documents? Should we separate them?
We can do it in subject.
Yeah.
Is tweets a tweeting strategy? Or is it just like tweets?
It was about some, I believe there should be some idea about like regularity of our tweets. By the way, one of the coolest things is like you can add a task and you can set to repeat. For
Yeah,
example,
indeed. Yeah, that's a good one. Today, because I do it every day, multiple times.
yeah.
And I'm gonna add that especially there as well. Because in that last thing, it's more, you're not really doing that, right? I see that.
I haven't tweeted anything
No, that's
from the
fine.
comment stack. I might go in there and retweet. I might go in there and retweet, but I will not generate tweets. No.
So I'm not sure like whether we should like put a reminder for you if you want.
Oh, I don't need the reminder.
Okay.
I get the reminders.
Okay. So maybe I should delete it all.
The class, no, it's fine to have it. It's an ongoing thing that's super important.
Okay, but we can't check if it was done or not.
If we can check it.
It's still like it's just for you mostly because we probably won't check like if you make the tweet or something every day.
No, but it's a good one to have because people can add comments there. Hey Chris, or hey,
yeah.
you see this, or this is
Okay. So I'll write like comments on what needs to be there. Right?
Yeah. Because it's like I can say, hey, I just created this, and then that can see that stuff.
I think this is in the description. Right?
Yeah.
YouTube videos. Is this just the YouTube videos like that we're making right now? This live stream?
I'm not sure. We outlined that people would like as one of the channels they will watch some videos, but I'm now not sure like do we will need to do that something like anything besides we already are doing here.
I mean, I definitely think we need to send someone to go through and label each of these videos and build a cohesive. We just did.
Add them to the list.
We just created like add them to the list. We just created like 20 hours of video content. Most of it's horrible and boring, but like they at least need labels and descriptions. I don't know if anyone wants to take that on. Like, Kai, would you be interested? You do that a lot, but
I was going through some of them, and it helps though I wasn't physically present for some. So help is appreciated, but I will try to name.
Yeah, I think I can be your help there.
Yeah, you were my wish.
I was here as well, so and I have access.
Yeah.
Any suggested date?
I would say that's ongoing. Can we do it recurring weekly or something?
Yeah. So the next one, I don't know. Next, we have calls on Wednesday, is it? Or
Tuesdays and Friday.
Okay, I'll put on Wednesday. And set to repeat weekly.
Are we happy with the call times that we have? Do we need to?
Maybe.
I would request that we move the early one because that's a 6 a.m. meeting on the West Coast. Is that what we're talking about? Our weekly meetings?
In the chat or somewhere.
Yeah. Do we want to assign someone to figuring that meeting times out and potentially? Max, okay. So I'll put you under that. And where does that go? Communications, I guess.
Okay. And again, with tweets, also retweeting and sharing in the groups for document engineers, stuff like that, right?
Yes.
Who is RPP?
I was curious about that as well. Somebody from Cornell, do you know who's that?
Ravi?
That's Ravi Patel. He's going to be working on the POC demo.
What is the thing you just asked? Where is it?
RPP.
No.
Sharing everywhere plus FT plus Telegram and other chats.
Where is it?
It's
there. Sorry.
It's in the digital content.
Yeah, so that's on the. I'm gonna add Jeff to. Especially, we'll figure out how to do it. We're working on that.
Okay.
I completed that already.
Okay.
I just copied it to everyone.
I see all the most of that article stuff is appointed to end of September, right?
Articles?
On the Cascade and Common Stack rate of Unity product and explainers and healers and components.
That is a kind of a late date.
I'm just being realistic with the expectations of me managing a launch and communications and potentially fundraising solo. I'm guessing I'm not going to have a lot of time to write. I mean, it would be lovely, but at this point, those aren't a priority with our launch.
Okay. And they're all due on the same day though?
Well, they're post-launch insanity.
Okay.
TBD if we want dates on them.
Do we need to change something?
No, I mean, it's so far in the future. I think it's kind of weird that they're all the same day, but it's so far in the future. Who cares?
I mean, I generally, when I work with project management software, I don't assign dates until they are hard dates. But if we want dates on things, that's the date that I will look at it again. And hopefully, I mean, it's too far in the future to be clear on when they will be delivered. There's too much to do between now and then. So I don't know how you want to manage that.
Yeah. And FAQ is for Wednesday, right? It's pretty soon, and it's Adam who does it.
It is really all three of us, but I'm trying to spread some responsibility for documents among the narrative team.
Okay. Then on the fundraising DApp, Sponet set all the dates. Sponet, do you need anything from other team members to do that?
Yeah, mostly I think for that whitelisting, I think that's pretty important for me. So how the procedure is going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something I have to get going together with Coach B, probably. But I anticipated now is that there would be a section in the DApp where Coach B can add addresses to the whitelist.
Yeah, so I've added this task to maybe Coach B could outline the procedure for ML, how it will happen. Coach B, how are you with that?
Yeah, for me, it's more about how that, whatever the procedure is, how it interacts with the whitelist. So what functionalities does Coach B need? Does he have to be able to add addresses alone or addresses in combination with email addresses maybe, because we need to send out emails afterwards? So just those fine-grained details. We don't have to discuss them now, I guess, but just so we know that that's the task.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Okay, so could you have a conversation on that, please?
Yeah, we can have it on Monday maybe, or I don't know. With your availability, isn't that the same as a DApp? You have another one where you said.
Yeah, it is as a subtask actually already in the fundraising DApp, the interface procedure scan link. So it's sort of double up there, I guess. So I can just remove it there.
Yeah,
logistics in action. Okay, so it's 20 minutes till technical lunchtime. I propose that we go to this a healthy bowl place that's just like a 7-minute walk from here.
I can't. Jeff and I have a meeting at 12:30.
Okay, so
Yeah.
is there anybody else who can't go?
I don't think Max is going.
No, I'm leaving in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Сайка,
But does it work for you?
Все готово? Приходи.
Does it work for you?
Yeah, I don't care. Is it food? It's food. I'll take it.
Yeah. Next, account management. So we need to start follow-ups in some moment, right?
sorry, they integrate education tips on MetaMask. Did you talk? Because I didn't get that. They are writing those education tips, or what is that?
Well, in the dApp, there should be like when you log into the dApp, maybe it's also like this some emails or somewhere, but you need to put either FAQ or something on how people like when they interact with the dApp, like we cannot have MetaMask, they may not understand those different networks or not understand
Okay,
how
get
to.
it. But why are all the states not on August 16th? They not being these beyond after. Does it still need to be by August 16th? Good. Like getting the contract, smart contract, staff, and everything right. By August 16th, do we need it for that week?
It would be really nice if Simon and Trent and all those guys had tech tokens. It doesn't need to be. We can fail and still launch, but I think that there's huge value in getting that test done first, and it's one that can focus on other things.
Okay, but then I just know like education tips on MetaMask, except that for that audience, it's less important to follow up with it.
Yeah.
Those days were set by Spanet, so.
Yeah, no, it's just to the context. Yeah.
So when would we need to start following up people from our list? When we'll start whitelisting them and so on?
I think the consensus from the meeting before was that we would start whitelisting them after 10. Well, we have kind of two sessions: the advisors and core team, and then open session would be like basically after tag. Sometimes we'll probably like maybe we say, I don't think that date's determined. I think we should appoint Jeff to assign that date.
I'll set August 23rd. It's like then we'll start following up. And so, yeah.
What date is that for? Sorry.
August 23rd.
But for what task?
For starting to follow up with the people from our lists.
From like application lists or?
Yeah.
I would really like to hand off individual follow-ups, if possible. Well, I guess I'm going to be the only person. So.
Well, there should be an account there, right? Oh, apparently it's me. Oh no, I have to appoint.
You have to appoint somebody. Yeah.
Okay. That sounds fine.
So that August 23rd isn't correct in the sense that none of us. Yeah.
Can we check? Can we get a like understanding of these dates? So these dates are not. Are they like? Are they? Do they serve two purposes? Is it like they are the hard date that it's done, or sometimes it's the hard date that it's readdressed?
Yeah, that's what Jeff said. I like that.
Yeah, it can be readdressed. It's well, for me, like how I use it is like I have like usually more tasks than I can do. I have this flow of tasks like I need to check. For example, one task I can't do until like August 8th, right? So I don't touch it. But then I have like 10 tasks usually per day. So this is like my my calendar, for example, for today. So I just prioritize and do what's most important and to push others like away, like on the next day or something. But I also track if like in this list I see something like super urgent, I can do it faster. But also there could be like 10 urgent issues. It's mostly for, just following up. So what we could see on our like Wednesday call, for example, is that there was this task, for example, and I can check like what's with this task, right?
Yeah.
With these tasks.
Okay.
So if they are not updated, at least to get the update.
Okay.
Can I ask you to continue this, and I'll be probably.
Absolutely. Max, thank you so much for coming. This is like seriously.
That was super great.
Yeah.
This is a great addition to the project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to highlight this calendar view. If people haven't played around with those views, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, the calendar view is really nice.
And if you change your scope, obviously, like you have to click on Common Stack to get the global one.
Okay, I feel like we're at a good stopping point. We're saying goodbyes and stuff. Can we try to end lunch early? Is that possible on your guys' side? And try to meet back here at 1:45 or even 1:30?
We have a call with Robbie from
could work.
12:50, Griff. From 12:50, I don't know how long we need to talk about the POC demo, but if that's an hour, that'll go to 1:50.
Let's try to keep it, and let's just say 1:45. We all meet back for lunch. Does that work for everyone, Zargam?
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm just gonna stick with Baron, and I guess I have to try to trend that call, so let's be quick.
Yeah, that's the main tech is that no one else has any calls during lunch. We do, and I think we can end it at 1:45.
Okay. All right.
Fine for me as well.
Okay, so we'll come back and do 1:45.
Yeah. Okay. See you guys.
Bye, guys.